back to the Helping Peter mod. We are in distinct Danish city with dear old kindly Peter, who is gonna go watch some TV. So this has got to be one of the one of the most unique mods for Emergency 4, and it utilizes a whole load of features which are pretty awesome. The one and only downside is the calls are incredibly repetitive, which is a little bit of a pain in the trumpet. So this is Peter's car, which he can't drive. This is the ambulance, which he does drive, and this is a fire engine, which he doesn't drive. So I think it's probably time to give us a call, assuming one does come up. Aha! Person collapsed. Okay, let's just get ourselves some clothing. So this is our paramedic vest. So we're going to go and open up this. Right, okay, blues on. So we've got to go to here.
On our way.
So you got to follow the progress of dear Peter. Yep. There's no traffic at the moment, so we'll just keep him sirens on. He's actually just about arrived at the scene. So we'll get the lights off, which is fine. So we'll open the trunk of our vehicle. I'll tell you what, I don't know why he's not. Okay. Let's just open and close the trunk. There we go, he's running now. Right, fine. So, we're going to grab equipment, we're going to grab the emergency bag. We don't actually know what's wrong with this person, so we're just going to go check the patient at this time. Okay. So, we'll do our stuff first of all. So, ABC. Free airways, slow breathing, no major bleeds, which is fine. Okay, so let's open the emergency bag. We don't actually know what's wrong with them at this point. So check DE, which I can't remember what it is. Acting drunk, big pupils, high GCS, smells of alcohol. Pulse is fine. Blood pressure, blood pressure is fine. Pulse is slightly high. Oxygen saturation is very high. Okay, check the blood sugars. 5.4. I think if they're below. So it seems like he's drunk. So let's just give water. Water given to the patient. I don't know if somebody's collapsed because they're drunk. Recovery position. Yes. Patient is in the recovery position. So the reason for that is if they are drunk, then basically there's a good chance they could vom canoe everywhere. And so it's very important that if they do not choke on the vomit. So if they're in the recovery position, that's fine. What the devil is this? Oh, stiff neck collar. Yeah, we don't need that. So the ambulance is on the way. So we'll just kind of fast forward. So this isn't really so much of a medical emergency more as it is it's just a person who's had too much of the bevy. Judging by his fancy tweed suit, I imagine he is not going to be one for enjoying some special brew. Anyway, let's just get some oh no, only one of you needs to get the stretcher, don't you? Because this is one of those mods. Perfect, okay. So with the ambulance crew on scene, we're going to get Peter to take a little step back. So we're going to go pick up our bag. And our ambulance is off the hospital. So let's close off the boot, get back in the car with the blue lights off, and we're gonna go home, which is fine and dandy. Okay, perfect. So while we're on the way back, let's put through a free call. Oh, I've got one already. We've got an injured person who's actually not unreasonably nearby.
On the way.
Where? Oh, they're near. Okay. So we can hear the sirens, so we know he's reasonably close. Helping Peter to the rescue. Okay, perfect. So let's just open and close the trunk. So we've got 2 minutes until the ambulance arrives. So we're just going to go and begin our treatment of the individual. So check patient. So we're going to go drop down. So Mr. Peter, ABC. Free airways, normal breathing, no bleeds. Okay. Let's just check. Normal reaction, normal pupils. Minor wounds. Blood pressure is okay, normal reaction. GSC 15. So minor wounds is fine. Anyway, blood pressure is slightly high. Pulse is alright. I don't think she's at risk of anything too serious. Check oxygen saturation. Can't. It looks like something's barked. Right. How do I get to Peter? Right, let's just do. Right, leave patient. Just because. Yeah. So Peter, our Peter seems to be a little bit broken at the moment. There we go. Okay, so right, let's just check the oxygen saturation. Saturation is high. Blood sugars are high. So we'll treat the wounds. All wounds are treated, so I don't think there's much else to do other than to... Because, I mean, if it was a major injury, you would consider giving a shock blanket. I don't really know if you would give water and things for... I don't know. Anyway, the ambulance has just turned up, so let's get them doing stuff. Get a stretcher from the ambulance. Perfect. Okay, so we'll just get this person uplifted. Oh yeah, she can't because Peter's there. Right, okay, so let's just get the person uplifted and taken back to the ambulance, which we can't for some strange reason. Yeah. I wonder if it's because... Get in the vehicle. That's quite interesting. Okay, it seems something has quite royally barked. What happens if I leave the stretcher in the road? Will you get back in the vehicle now? Will you get back in the vehicle? No. Okay, so the ambulance has quite royally done a screw up. Right, what if we get the stretcher from the road? Okay, now you can go back in, which is fine. Can you go back in? Yes, okay, so whatever it was has unbarked itself, which is fine. So these guys are back in the ambulance and on the way to hospital. We'll set our status as free, close the boot, get back in. Perfect, so you can go home and we will now see what our next emergency... Ooh. Okay, so we've got a diabetic person right in front of us, actually. I don't think there's going to be much need for the blue lights here. Okay, so we'll go through the normal checks for a diabetic person. So we're going to grab ourselves an emergency bag and come begin the process of treating the patient. Let's get down. ABC. Okay. Oh yeah, so I forgot to talk about the AVPU, which is basically one of the consciousness indicators. So it's saying V, which means they're not. So A is alert, V is they respond to voice, P is they respond to pressure, I think. I can't remember, so if I could poke them, I can't remember what it's supposed to be. And U's unresponsive. So he's kind of responding to voice, which means he's actually in a reasonably severe shock. So he's acting drunk, which is quite common for diabetics. GCS is 13, slightly lower than normal. No injuries in his tumble, which is fine. Blood pressure fine, pulse fine, oxygen saturation is okay. Blood sugar is 2.1, so anything lower than 3 is not what you would want. So let's give him some glucose. Give him a little bit of water. And we'll also put an anti-shock blanket on, because I am told by somebody that you know, just to prevent them from slipping into a diabetic shock. So we'll keep treating this person while we get the ambulance crews in to deal with the situation. And they're almost on scene, they're almost on scene. Ambulance is on the way. Okay. So we're going to leave the patient and pick up our medical box. Right, so we'll get all these guys out. So you're going to get a stretcher. You can lower this, get back in. And we'll get you off to headquarters while the ground crews treat this person. Oh, okay, so we've got reports of a person feeling unwell.
On the way!
They're over here at a petrol station, I guess, okay.
On the way!
Right, so we'll get these guys back in the ambulance and ready to head out to hospital. Perfect. So they're off to hospital and Peter's almost arrived at the petrol station. If I can find the bloody thing. And he has now just arrived. Perfect. Right, so let's open the boot. And we'll get an emergency bag. Okay, let's come and start doing our treating. So he's feeling unwell. Very, very generic. So let's select Peter and get him to start doing some treatment. So ABC, responsive to voice, free airways, rapid breathing, but no major bleeding, which is fine. Left side paralyzed, pupil differences, GCS 12, no injuries. Okay, so this is a stroke basically. Blood pressure is very high, pulse very high. Oxygen saturation 97. Blood sugar is fine. Right, anti-shock blanket we'll put on. I don't think we can do anything with this. Right, let's just, what other equipment have we got? Let's just leave the patient for a second and we'll go pick up. The LP12 is defibrillator. I don't know if we need it, but there's not a great deal with the equipment that we can do. So if we open up the oxygen, okay. So I think what we'll do is we'll just keep him with oxygen. So we're giving him a Hudson mask, keeping that on him. And actually, what we're going to do let's just leave. So we are quite sure it's a stroke, but nevertheless we should probably double check everything is showing well on an ECG, because it would be quite improper to rely on visual clues alone for this. So let's just check the ECG. It shows normal sinus rhythm. Fine, good. Yes, okay, right, there we go. That's what we wanted. So we've still got the oxygen mask on. I don't think there's need to ventilate. And I'm not actually all too sure what the best position for them to be in a stroke is. If we lift them up, no. Okay, so position doesn't amazingly matter. So we'll just leave them in recovery position just now, I guess. Other than to call an ambulance on the quick, we don't really get told what to do for strokes and such. So let's get them into the ambulance. You're gonna come pick up the patient. No, we can't, because you can't while you got the blanket on. Oh, no, apparently I can't either. Check patient. I said check patient. Check the patient. There we go. Right, okay, so we'll get the blanket off. Close the emergency bag, leave patient. So now we're going to get you to come and pick up you, and we're going to start moving some. No. Yeah, sorry, paramedic. Right, leave patient. Go away. You come pick up the person. So you're going to go off to hospital. We're going to get you to start loading all the stuff back in. So they're going to go on to hospital in quite an urgent fashion. Tell you, not bad. Audi paramedic car? Yeah. And in the meantime, we'll mark ourselves as free. Perfect. Oh, crap. So we've got another injured person who's quite close to us.
On our way.
Okay.
On the way.
So Mr. Paramedic Peter has arrived. Let's just get ourselves, well, let's just open up the boot of the car for a second. Okay, the way we're parked looks like we hit the dude. Okay. So person is injured is the report that we've got. So let's just get our medical kit down. Okay, so ABC check. He is alert, responsive, free airways, slightly fast breathing, major bleeding, pale and sweating. Oh dear. Okay. So open emergency bag. So we're going to slow reaction. Okay. Major bleeding. Kind of missed that one. Thank you. Pulse, blood pressure is low, pulse is high, which is another sign of serious internal injuries. Oxygen is at the lower point of being found, and blood sugar is fine. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to lift the legs at the moment for to prevent the blood loss going on. We're going to use the anti-shock blanket to treat the wounds, and the oxygen saturation was a little bit low, just to kind of keep him as healthy as possible. We're going to back off and we're going to go grab our oxygen mask, and we're going to go plonk it down at the patient. Okay, so let's just open up this, and we're going to give some oxygen via the Hudson mask, basically just to kind of keep their oxygen at tip-top condition, and then we're just going to monitor the wounds up until the ambulance arrives in around about 30 seconds time. 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, so the ambulance is coming. This guy's got major bleeding, but we've given him a blanket to keep him warm. We've raised his legs up. We've treated the wounds as much as we can, and we have given him oxygen to kind of try and support him as much as we can. And now it's going to be all over to the ambulance as soon as it arrives. You can hear it. Okay, great. Right, so you're going to come get a stretcher from the ambulance. Our paramedic is going to sit in and be ready to take the person away as soon as required. So the ambulance, well, we kind of needed to, buddy boy, in order to be able to get the guy lifted. So, the paramedic crew have got him uplifted, which is fine. So we'll just get our stuff put away. So they're going to go off to hospital with the guy with the major trauma. And we're going to go to base. Okay, so where's the ambulance? So the ambulance is on quite a speedy journey out towards the hospital, and off it goes. And I think that is probably about enough for this episode of Emergency 4 with the Helping Peter mod. We will get our kindly community hero back in the ambulance station, which he now is. So it's time to close up the gate. We will change our uniform into our civvies. And then it's going to be time to head home. So I don't actually know what happens if you do the if you click on the car. Does it go in it? No, he just gets stuff out of it. So yes, Peter is now in his car, ready to finish his shift here in Denmark. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching this episode of Emergency 4 with the Helping Peter mod. Yeah, it's still a very good and enjoyable mod, except for the slight lack of variety in the calls. But hey, everything was successful, everybody lived, and I think we didn't screw up any of the first aid, which is always a good sign. Woo! So I'll thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!